right about now, we need to put this event into the hands of a man that would call the chairman. And to introduce the chairman, please join me welcome upstage, Santi Browning, Andah. A big hand. She's a powerful woman. She is a great woman. When you look at things happening around the world like this, you know we need more women like these who make men better. I'm not talking about Will Smith or Johnny Depp, but Santa, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, George. Good evening, distinguished guests, family, and friends. We are grateful to all of you for gracing this occasion. The chairman I'm about to introduce is a big one. I couldn't memorize it all, though I'm old, but my brain is still powerful. I just couldn't memorize it, so it's on the iPad and I'm going to read. So kindly permit me to start my introduction with a quote from Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart. A man who calls his kinsmen to a feast does not do so to save them from starving. They all have food in their homes. When we gather together in the moonlit village ground, it is not because of the moon. Every one of you can see it from your own compound. We come together because it is good for kinsmen to do so. So all of us gathered here today, we all have a story to tell. We all come around with our luggage, our own little trolley cases, with our experiences, good, bad, ugly, with our own biological makeup that make us unique, and we all have a story to tell. But usually we carry it along wherever we go, and that makes us unique. But many a times, it's a bit difficult for us to just open the case. But George today has been bold enough to open his trolley case for us to see all the content. That's far, not everything, but to this point. So that's what we are going to do today. And with us, we have a chairman who will grace this occasion for us. That chairman holds a BL from the Ghana School of Law, Legon. He also holds an LLB from the University of Ghana and an executive MBA from GIMPA. He was called to the Ghana Bar in February 1997, 25 solid years. He's regarded as one of the country's experts in company and real estate law and handles matters for both local and foreign clients, including some of the country's strongest local entities. This is a strong guy. He's specializing in setting up and structuring of international businesses in Ghana and also provides transaction advisory services. He's an astute advocate and a very consummate negotiator. He lectures at the FAIR's training arm, the Law Institute. He's a director of many boards, and currently he is a chairperson of the National Communications Authority. He also serves as the first honorary consul of Jamaica to Ghana. One love. He is a traditional ruler and a Chie Nanahene of Chebi. I'm also from Achem, so, Your Honor. Under the school name of Berima Kwekudia, he is married to 2 children. He's married and has 2 children and an avid golfer. He knows the good, the bad, and the ugly of George Andah and is a very much part of George's journey. I personally am looking forward to listening to his full disclosure. Everything that just shares with us and parts of George Andah, what he's put forth. So now it is my distinguished honor to introduce to you His Excellency Isaac Emil Osei Bonsu.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for our chairman as he comes up.
Mr. Chairman, your audience.
Thank you. You want to hear everything? Not today. Good evening. Honorable Minister for Information, Honorable Deputy Minister for Local Government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. When George asked me to come and chair this occasion, I was a bit taken aback because for me, all the book launches that I have been to, the chairmen are always old men with gray hair. Then I looked in the mirror and I realized I was an old man with gray hair. That's all right. And maybe this is the time for me to also be a member of that small group of chairmen who have launched books. But I've known George for conservatively 45 years. 45 interesting years. And ladies and gentlemen, our friendship, well, it is not a friendship. It is a brotherhood. George is my brother. I mean, everybody in this room who knows me and knows George knows that we are not friends. We are brothers. We have been through a lot. And before I will go into the meat of my speech, which will be brief, though, I'm just amazed at the resilience of Mr. Andah, of George. And you know, George started off as a science student. If our mates here would tell you, and when you are in natural school and you are a science student, you are naturally not a very entertaining person. You are supposed to be dull. I'm not saying that he was. Then he went to the university and did science. Came out and did a master's in marketing, a complete switch. First job was selling alcohol. Now, George was moving in waves. Then he moved all the way to telecoms. Then he did politics. Now he's doing a little bit of chieftaincy. And I'm thinking, this is a man who has been through many experiences. Some of them two very difficult ones, as we all know, of some of the very difficult periods that George has been through and has fought. He has been resilient in this fight to be where he is this evening. But I am not surprised that he has fought this hard, because when we were kids, we were about 9 years old, there was a house next door to his house. They were the noise or whatever. We used to go there and then, box and play football. The Terriers. So one day we went to box there. And George was beaten up badly. Very badly. He went home and cried for an hour and came back to box again. At that point, we knew the kind of character that Mr. Andah was forming for himself. He has been a man who has always been determined to do more. Hence, we are all here this evening to witness this book. Now, let me go on to my speech. Oh, that wasn't the speech. That was the intro. But it's a short one. Basically, it is very critical that we respect literature. Literature that chronicles the experiences of men, especially in the continent of Africa. Because when you do so, you give hope to the African youth. You make them understand that it is possible to be successful in this part of the world, and that the urge to travel abroad, etc., to seek greener pastures could be curtailed or to be reduced to the barest minimum. When people like George write about their experiences, it gives a window into the often closed corporate and politics worlds and provides an almost cinematic frame through which those who want to succeed in the corporate world can see what success looks like in that space and how to achieve it. George's book is a must read. And for anyone who is contemplating taking the risk of transition from private life into public life. It is not often that you will get books that cover two important facets of every country: the corporate world and the world of frontline politics. This book has a rare combination of both worlds. This book has a rare combination of both worlds, and also provides valuable insights and lessons for us who are going to be the readers. Life is often about successes and failures, and we are defined by how we react to both. George has experienced both great successes and also great challenges, setbacks, and failures. How he has reacted in these instances is a template worthy of notice. I'm going to ask all of us in this room, every single person should purchase this book. Ignore the parts about me. They may not be true. You can check with me later. But let this program be a success. Let this program resound in the person that we are celebrating this evening. I wish you all a great evening and enjoy the night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, your chairman. Please, a bigger hand for the chairman. We don't stop clapping for the chairman until he's taken a seat. You know, when the chairman was giving his presentation, every time he mentioned the name George, I felt proud. Imagine if God said, you are going to be, like somebody who shares a name with you. I mean, I'm George, that's an older George. All those good things that were said, it means I have a future. A solid one. But if your name is, say, Patapa, or should I go there? Should I go there? If your name is, the devil is a liar. See you later. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Andah has touched so many lives. So many lives. And there is a part that has to be in that book. If it is not there, we'll have to do a review. Once upon a time, Buster Rhymes came to Ghana. George was CMO at MTN. I was a producer. I was learning how to produce at the time. It was one of my biggest events with Charterhouse at the time. Good evening to my boss then, Mr. Philip Ayesu. Good to know you're here. And they said we had a meeting with MTN. You drew on a papa na die yellow. If they say somebody lives the brand, somebody wears the brand, somebody owns the brand, that is George. The man had dyed his hair yellow, his beard yellow. Unfortunately, the hair no day again, Mom, but it was there at the time. And those who saw it, saw it. Jesse, you were there, weren't you? You remember the yellow? Yeah, that was when you went to spray your hair blue when you went to Tigo. But I'm fat. As I was saying, George has touched so many lives, and this evening we've got one of them here to give us a very wonderful performance as we get ready to launch this all-important book. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother and friend, Ochiame Kwame, the rap doctor.
Thank you. Abba. Uncle George, this is to say thank you for all the amazing things you've done in my life. And I remember when I became Artist of the Year, you signed me to a 6-year-old contract at MTN. And it changed my perspective. It changed my perspective on life. It introduced me to business in a different way. And I'll come from Kumasi. And you say, Kwame, come and be in my house. I'll never forget this. So inside my book, when I wrote only 10 names of people who have influenced my life, you are a part of it. Thank you very much. God bless you. Okay. Missy Money when you found 18 abone free war. Because I may who say I dream was soon. Money when you found Tina abone free war. Because I may who say I dream was soon. Uja me hona. You know how to sing it. Man, yourself. We are hitting the house. Which I have honor. My bread. Man, you'll be yourself. I will order. I said, to me, Obi, Kabi, Mame, Ochame, Atome, Menemi, Yame, Miami, to me, yo. Me better my 12 Benny, Trappy 30. Wait, try to say, me won't if I rebuy, me to buy my hand time a jai. Remember what I see, won't never high. Family bonnie chummy, will be the share. Manuel Amidia, won't never dear. I dare me, yeah, if you want me to say, won't team me down now. That conca, I can't stand it. Now me team in now, and not so send me to get a car. Me try many, then so me won't be just a while. Say, what you think one, Missy me take a for or dog. Majiwa to my breath, koto. I feel I'm a say, Odomu, Udoya tomatoes, Mako baby ato. Jimmy is the same, mene. One echo, Yabi Papa Coyasa. Uja, Hoda. Machinchi, my breath. Man, yourself, oh, Manante, my breath. Uja, me hona. Machinchi, my breath. Man, yourself, oh, Nantia, my breath. I will. May you come there. Me pa me home to te. Me di odon to my back. I hope I see him pabua. Utuntum say yo, my crado, Messu Guado, Kawati and wow. She your bad penny, Kwame Sanseni, Misuba Bunny, which I be was to Jenny Mikai, Dabishia, Wona, Mano Popo, Mrs. Sochiame, was in the Mentoto, where we go Hoka, but we see the channel, Nana Sitalia, do you get your Rebellia to Mamento, why you say Sumia, what is soon is Syria, Wanupo, Yawusania, Sicilia, Medokoto Srekai, or never film Padia, or what the action to us every day, Papa dia yemba shedie tinde no nsia pepepe me name nkuku kaka odo masa baba meche highlight masanabo menu mi wo masanabo emenu mi wo Yepejam kaka yepejam dance or yakotie. Why would it say I go ya do ya koto pa wasie? Say masacha wa pede meye. I said friend I make an ye. Ya fe bi bia to nchen him atema. Ese ne teche man kwa ne di wasem. Embo bi ti ya se pa wa kodi ya tem. Na bi bia wa hu ya bia twe me be ye ne tem. Ja me kwa bi se bia o da every go we sem. Eti why would it say I go ya do ya koto pa wasie say masacha wa pede meye I said friend I make an ye. Ya fe bi bia to nchen him atema. Ese ne teche man kwa ne di wasem. Embo bi ti ya se pa wa kodi ya tem. Na bi bia wa hu ya bia twe me be ye ne tem. Ja me kwa bi se bia o da every go we sem. Masanabo, Melumi, wow, Reggie Rockstone in the house. Masanabo, Melumi, wow. Thank you. You see, this cloth will not let me express myself, but I wore it intentionally so that I will behave myself. Because the caliber of people in this room, I can't come here and just be behaving by heart. So the next song is called Sika, because I chose this song strategically. Because I need all of us here to know that writing a book is not an easy thing. For a person to sit down and decide to be honest about his life, the pitfalls and the rises, it's important that we support and make sure that the book gets to wherever it's supposed to get to. Your friend Misika, Yenko. And this is a personification of money interacting with life, with God, with human beings, with love, and with money itself. Bitim ho pretty mete ho mentity ewiasi muntokwa eni je nina mitio mi frifia unya sumdie me kanwa warenya de mi propeniwa itrimo dwinyina waya bofra o your friend Misika, £1,000 money, friend Misika. Yes, say, I see the money, friend Misika. Now me your home, friend Misika. £1,000 money, friend Misika. Yes, say, I see the money, friend Misika. I say, I've caused many wars, broke many laws. Economists and politicians know I'm the boss. Broken homes and marriages, yes, I'm the cause. The people's lack of knowledge is all my fault. And I know I'm wrong, but through negativity I get strong. It's through this reality that I was born. I leave you with insanity and I'm long gone. Now me free. Satan VC or any kenosis. Free to lead and then we are seeing your friend the techie. They try me here me points and me what just daddy. Now show me when the brain tea, they be crafty to me tea. But for who cow on wuti, so me see no when you be. So who pia ubi agidi, so who pia ubi agidi. Yum to see and say me better girl to gana king. Your friend Misika. Everybody singing for me. Your friend Misika. Your friend Misika. Na me your home me say your friend Misika. Your friend Misika. Your friend Misika. Etoda madwen kire me ho se me hu hia che onyame obi bompa ye kata na ni bo kire onyame na opopopo a eya oba hwehwe me na otoko so a obeko so a gise me dwete dua sapeti na Judas Yesu maye Matthew 26:14-16 kwa ne kaye osofu teacher lawyer doctor many obi adaye wada kata na ni me ho dwedwenti na wonai e kwati mi be family free party de me ko she pass ma be modo na yere bona sum pe e kodu do wo ho so minti asem kakra bi na asrafo atwito da yete ni pe e wiasi mo ni je ni mu he wo hwe mi ye dia ene obe ye etionua nyanunua na oyere yire ni kunu na eja tumija obama omama na omoda ekomo a owofa ni adwuma na onyini be ye omama na so onye tiny hia na da ni nyina ye mintira woni mi a woni mhira mesusu ye ne se be metro kwan ama wayira your friend Misika. Your friend Misika. Your friend Misika. Na me your home. Your friend Misika. Your friend Misika. Koda. Your friend Misika.
Man of the moment, my big brother and friend, Nenyi George Andah. A big hand for the man. Please keep clapping for him. That's it. Yep.
I think Abuaji wanted to check his height category when he walked down.
Allah.
And he was defeated, so he had to back off. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, family, friends, and family friends who are here, family friends are joining us virtually. ladies and gentlemen, good evening. First, let me thank you all for choosing to spend your Sunday evening with us here. I have no intention to bore you with a long speech, except to highlight a few things. And Achamu Kwame was talking about, no, it was Abuaji George Quay. He was talking about how I dyed my beard yellow. He hadn't seen anything then, because there were some other really sexy places that were dyed yellow as well. And Santi can testify to that. My decision to pen down parts of my story has very little to do with me personally. My main motivation was a conversation that I had with Uncle Ebo White about 15 years ago. And the challenge that he threw at me back then, which gave me reason to believe with very firm conviction that the Ghanaian, and most importantly, the African youth, must be convinced to know that everything is achievable once you put your minds at it. Indeed, this may sound like a cliche, but it's also an unequivocal truth that you and I may face challenges in life. We may face setbacks along our journey, but with prayer, determination, focus, the right network, and support, inshallah, we will get there. Uncle Ebo White had challenged me to put out this autobiography by my 40th. But I thought I had a lot more to do at that time. So I pushed it to my 50th. The writing of this autobiography was taken cumulatively over 4 years to put together. I'd like to say a big thank you to all those who availed themselves to be interviewed, especially Mrs. Patricia Kwedu, who tells the story from the Hagen side, and my Busiapane, Dr. Ubu Andah, who tells the story from the Andah side. No one commits 3 to 4 years to a cause he or she does not believe in, especially when we had to undertake this task whilst I went through a series of surgeries to correct the aftermath of my accident. And indeed, since COVID can be blamed for everything else, I can also blame COVID for the delay. But I believe that this book, which is about to be launched today, contains some very valuable lessons that everyone can add to the arsenal of the life journey. As it is often quoted, we are a sum of our experiences. I, therefore, could not have gathered enough experiences worthy of a book without the guidance of my mentors, my bosses, my work colleagues, my family, my friends, and the numerous individuals that I've interacted with over the years. To you all, I say thank you for helping me get this far. And to my brother Eddie, who was looking for X-rated portions of the book, First, everything I learned that was X-rated, please blame the chairman. Secondly, every X-rated portion was removed by Father Charles. So blame him for the missing portions. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, may I at this moment request your kind permission to be on your feet and observe a minute silence in remembrance of some very special people whom I've written about in this book that are physically not here with us today. They are amongst the angels in heaven watching over us. To my parents, John and Teresa Andah, to my paternal and maternal grandparents, to my uncle, Dr. Emmanuel Kweku Andah, also known as Nenyi and the Fifth, my mother-in-law, my former boss, Amma Hamza, my very good friends, George Posu Ampuma, Kofi Amofa Achampong, Bill Kwanzaa, Benjamin Bruce Tusa, Tiklo, to my mentor, my coach, the great inspiration, Mr. Tobo Mensah, and Honorable Opeabe. Please let's observe a minute's silence. May their souls and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen. Please be seated. In conclusion, I hope that this book inspires everyone who reads it to be better than his or her former self. I hope that it motivates every reader to dare out of his or her comfort zone. And finally, I hope that it ignites the determination to do more and to be more in our hearts and in the minds. Once again, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to all of you for coming. It does mean the world to me. And thank you all also in advance for the big money that you're about to invest in this book, even as I'm determined to do more. May the good Lord continue to guide us all, because the mission is possible. I look forward to interacting with each one of you during the signing phase of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, do enjoy the evening. Thank you.
A big hand, ladies and gentlemen. A big hand for him, ladies and gentlemen. I was trying to get him to speak from there, but he insisted. He said, no, the people here are too wonderful. I cannot speak from my seat. I would have to mount the stage like everyone else, even with a stick. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand again. If we've heard from the author, I think it's about time we launched the book properly. What do you say? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the president is here. A big hand for the president. Red Rock Stone, Hip Life president. Oh, the other one. No. I'm talking the Hip Life president, so. Reggie, Akwawa. Again, we're gonna look at the screens as we get ready to unveil or launch the book. And then I'm going to invite my boss to, direct affairs from now till then. Please get ready to go into your wallets and your checkbooks and everything else. This is the part that we get to show our love to Big George Andah. Let's see the video. Shall we have the lights down, please? Shall we have the lights down, please? Ladies and gentlemen, now that this are shown on the screens, I'll crave your indulgence. A big hand, please, a big hand. I would humbly ask our chairman, two ushers, so that we can unveil this, then we'll get to see the books. Chair, if you can please, then you can officially.
In the presence of the Honorable Minister and Mr. Gadilai, I do hereby declare the book Determined to Do More duly launched. Round of applause. Thank you.
When I saw the book earlier, I was like, boy, this is huge. Then somebody whispered to me that this is only volume 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I did tell you my boss will be taking over from this point. This is the part where we get to show our love. This is the part where we get to show our commitment. Get ready to dig deep. We are going to see those who are going to be purchasing these books right now. I'm going to be buying one. At this point, please join me. Welcome upstage the one and only Chairman General Kwame Sefakai.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all very much for coming out tonight for George. I am quite happy that my brother from about 40 years ago is the chairman, and I'll tell my story when I asked him to buy a few books for a very handsome amount of money. I'm happy to see you. I hope that in spite of your traditional title, and the fact that you are board chair of an industry I work in and you can actually make me unemployed by decreeing that the license should be revoked, I believe that I can take a few liberties and still call you Awagu. Ladies and gentlemen, I noticed that to his right is a colleague who I can no longer call a colleague because he's a big man now. He's the minister in charge of my sector. And I'd like to invite Mr. Kojo Ponkroma, who is Member of Parliament for Fuasia Irebi and Information Minister, to take us through the book reading. Kojo, good evening and welcome.
A big hand, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, when you're in a room with so many Catholic priests and they invite you to the podium, feels like you're about to read the Bible. But I think the last 4 or 5 days, I've had the opportunity to read this entire book. And it confirmed for me a few things. In fact, the first reason for which I agreed to do a review and to read this was because, George, I wanted to find out if all the stories I had heard about were true. And indeed, they are true. And then the second reason was that Madame Elizabeth Ohene had said that this was a story of a young man who saw the possibilities of mobile money long before anyone believed Ghanaians could be persuaded to appreciate the merits of cashless transactions. And I was thinking to myself, so indeed you are the guy behind the e-levy experience we had in this country. But on a more serious note, the reason for which this book excites me dates back to 16 years ago when I was given the challenge of hosting a breakfast show on Joy FM. And the gentleman who had hosted it prior to that, Komla Dumont, had done it for about 10 years and had so much experience. And I spent my first 2 years just messing up. I was a hopeless starter, despite the fact that my management kept encouraging me. And I kept thinking to myself, if only Komla had left me a book. If only Komla had left me something that outlined his experiences, maybe my mistakes would be less. And for me, it is critical that people who've been through various things, corporate, politics, many other facets of life, leave something that can open a window to those who want to follow that path to understand. I want to read from pages 233 to about pages 223 to 233. And they talk about George's decision to enter politics and the battles and the advice that he ought not to enter politics. And it says from the last paragraph of page 223, says, when I decided to participate in active politics, someone who thought I was making a bad decision sent me what he called 10 reasons why politics was not good for me. To him, the things associated with active politics do not conform to my personality and my principles, and hence I should stay away from them. I reproduce his reasons just as he sent them to me. In politics, you must understand the following. 1, nobody has your interest. 2, everybody is chasing their interest. 3, dealing with politicians is like sleeping with tigers. You must always have your eyes wide open. 4, and this is one of my favorites. In any political equation, there's always someone being used. If you look around and you can't find that person, then it is you. 5, serving politicians is like a bandage on a wound. Once the wound is healed, your usefulness ends. 6, in politics, never will more than the bereaved. They will get the reward while you inherit their enemies. 7, in politics, in any event, if other interests conflict with your interests and you have to choose, always choose yours. Number 8, never cross oceans for politicians. You may drown. And it goes on and on. But then he concludes, and that is where the real lesson is. He says that as much as I understood the sentiments he raises in the above pointers, the question I ask myself is, if not me, then who? Whether we like it or not, democracy is what we have allocated to ourselves. We therefore need people to take an active interest in it. It is unfortunate that how some politicians have conducted themselves over the years has probably given credence to these sentiments expressed earlier. And George goes on to say that we need to change these sentiments. The people must have belief in the system of government because that is the only way true development can occur. I was motivated to contribute my part in making politics attractive to people like me, and indeed to all Ghanaians, and to the best of my ability. That is exactly what I've tried to do ever since I became part of frontline politics in Ghana. While contesting for the Utu Senya West parliamentary seat, I prepared and shared my message with the voters, a copy of which is found in Appendix 1. I'm working hard to live by that message, hopefully with God on my side. The journey has not been easy, as I have stated. Nonetheless, I'm still soldiering on. I came into politics with my integrity intact, and I intend to keep it as such. The sad thing, though, is keeping your integrity is one of the most difficult things to do in Ghanaian politics. While I strive hard to serve and execute my duties with the best of intentions, some people would do anything for political expediency. I've had my fair share of attempted maligning and soiling of my integrity. For instance, on July 22nd, 2020, NDC TV posted a picture of me hoisting a gun and captured it. We will shoot and kill. We are determined to kill every NDC supporter we see. George goes on to talk in the book about who posted it. I want you to read that for yourself. He goes on to talk about his phone call with that person who posted it directly, and the amazing response the person gave him. As to why someone would retrieve what was an old picture at a traditional ceremony and put a caption like this on it and seek to portray him as such, he says, only God and good conscience can tell. But then he proceeds to give credit to this person, saying that after I drew his attention to the real facts, he apologized to me personally and pulled down the picture from his Facebook wall. He goes on to recount many incidents in politics, some of which I am sure will make people cringe as they read. But to end my little reading of the book, I want to read from page 231, where despite the challenges in politics and what he has seen firsthand, he goes on to talk about his hope for our democracy. He says, every country needs a system of government based on which its citizenry can self-actualize. In Ghana, we have had colonialism, dictatorship, and democracy as our systems of government over the years. By all standards, democracy provides a better avenue for the citizens of a country to be happy and attain their goals in life. Under dictatorship, for instance, our fundamental human rights, such as rights to life, personal liberty, safety, dignity, and freedom, such as freedom of association and freedom of movement, among others, tend to be curtailed and infringed upon. As for colonialism, it's even a non-starter. No group of persons has a right to claim superiority over another. And this leaves us with democracy as the most viable system of government for our country. Don't get me wrong, democracy is not perfect. Indeed, it is very imperfect. And again, he goes on and on to explain his difficulties with democracy, but yet his hope that we can improve our democracy. The last two paragraphs I'll read, it says that by the time this book is out, I will be over 50 years old. When I look back, I have no regrets about deciding to stay in Ghana and to help build this country. Neither do I have any regrets about entering politics and directly serving my country. In the next decade of this country's life, I hope to see a democracy where national interest, not partisan interest, forms the basis of every discourse. I want to encourage you to get a copy and to read for yourself many of the stories that a lot of people would ordinarily not tell you. And for those who aspire to follow his tracks, it will be a good foundation on which you can build your future. Congratulations, George.
Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Kojo Opong Nkrumah. You know, when you stand here and you open the book like this, you feel like a man of God. Especially today being Sunday. I was lucky, early on in the day, I got a copy of the book. And flipping through, I got to page 143 and I found something quite interesting. There's a backstory to it. But I'm not going to bore you. I'll just read what I found that I thought was quite interesting. We were also sure that our lead characters for the advertisement, the main actors of the Water campaign, including my brother and good friend, Mr. Kwame Sifakain, the Chairman General, were properly briefed, fully on board and prepped for this all-important comeback move. It has to do with Guinness Stout. Guinness Extra Smooth, exactly. Water. We were, however, in for the shock of our lives. On the morning of the recording, Chairman General and the other main characters were not on set at the call-up time. Their phones were switched off. All attempts to reach them proved futile. In the end, we had to shoot the advert with David Donto, Ghana Man, Patenton, Papani, Papa Fio, Sophagos, and others. Of course, a change in the main characters diluted the whole big endorsement idea of the advertisement. As to the reason why Chairman General and Co decided not to turn up on the...
We wanted to grow the Guinness brand. And the challenge that we had at that time was that people were saying the drink was too bitter. And at that time, people were beginning to trade off value. So they were going for more liquid. So we tested this liquid in the labs. It passed all the tests. I mean, in blind tasting, it was... We got Reggie Rockstone as the ambassador for Guinness Extra Smooth. Then, people in this room, including Gedilai, they were pushing Castle Stout. 3 months after launching Guinness Extra Smooth, Castle Stout was dipping. We were happy. Reggie was happy. Some afternoon or some evening, I got home. Chairman General and his people had done an advert. Hey, said, man, should we percent to be sir? They had gone to do an advert that, Guinness Extra Smooth. When we brew the Guinness, the Andah, then we pour water inside. They run this ad. When you go to the bar, people stop drinking Guinness Extra Smooth. You see where Guinness is here. Oh! We tried. We changed label. Then, is Mrs. D here? Mrs. D. MacArthur's Award. Went to plan her. Then we say, why not let the people who did that water no come and do the Guinness one? So Chairman General is my friend. I call Chairman General. He says, it's a nice idea, but it's a problem. At that time, I think the budget that Mr. Frank Damele had given me and Mrs. D, I can't remember how much exactly it was, but let's say it is X. So, we briefed Chairman General how the advert was going to happen. We flew down the crew from London. They came, we did everything that we were supposed to do. The night before, Mr. Damale said, those your friends, have they taken money? I said, no, sir. Go and give them money. So I called Chairman General. I met up with him at FA's, Spintex Road. I said, Chairman General, your money did so. He said, wait. I called Mrs. D. I called Frank Damale. The man doesn't want to take the money. Frank Damale said, double it. I said, Chairman General, my boss said I should double the money. Chairman General, I'm going to make a few calls and come. He came back. When I come on set the next day, I'll take the money. I said, no. Mr. Damale said, take the money now. I called Mr. Damale. He said, triple it. Still, Chairman General said, George, you are my friend. I say, when I come on set, I'll take the money. I didn't know they had made up his mind that he won't come on set, so he won't take the money. But let him tell the story himself. Give it up to Chairman General.
Thank you very much. Chairman, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, honestly, I'm very honored that I got a mention in George's book, even though it's a very inglorious mention. He doesn't say very nice things about me in the book. And I'm surprised that he still insists that I read that phrase. He says, I still haven't given him a convincing answer. But you see, my brother, my upbringing, a Kwapin Presby boy, so German Peking, they say if it is not for you, don't take it. And if you know George Andah, if there's any word stronger than relentless, that's him. 4:30 a.m. George Andah will call me, bro. And then he starts playing emotional blackmail. Yeah, I bet you know, same year we'll go way back. I remember, say, even 99, say, if I give you some MC job for Cape Coast. No, this was bad. Today we're laughing, but it strained our friendship for more than 10 years. Oh yeah, George will not speak to me. So if you know George, he's passionate about everything he does. So George will not speak to me. Meanwhile, at a point in time, my wife was working with him, and he and her were like that. But the problem was me. So I remember when my wife and I had a child, George actually met my wife in the office and said, oh, Charlie, congratulations, and actually gave her money. Me. You see me for airports, if you make like no know me. Hey. So what's the story? Mr. Gedilai. Mr. Gedilai, you brought all of this on me. I am sitting by somewhere several years ago. It's more than 15 years. I'm sitting by somewhere. Then Mr. Gedilai comes and says, you and Master Richard should come and be models for Castle Milk Stout, a new drink from South Africa to rival Guinness. The money was good, let me be honest. The excitement was there. We shot the ad. George, in his typical, he counted. Then we went back to the drawing board. Then the Nsu agenda came. It was this man. Today I'm doing all my confessions. It was this man. Because then he was like, Charlie, Guinness people, they be hard. Oh. And if you work with Gedilai before, he will just throw the idea and he doesn't care whose interpretation of it is executed. As long as we all get the credit, it's fine. So the Nsu thing came. Today I'm telling you, it came from him. And then we started playing around it. So when we threw the Nsu in, George had to buckle under. Say, hey. Now George calls me and starts the emotional blackmail thing. Yeah, you remember the time where I did for SG before I go for, I remember, I'll give you work. Charlie, bro, we do this as him. Now, George, let me ask you. Here I was, your friend, your brother, your buddy. But I had gone to sign another assignment against you. I had gone and floated it. It was either my friendship with you or with Gedi and our brother Bill Kwanzaa, who was going to be with the fathers. It was either your money 3 times or my integrity. What would you have done?
A big hand, ladies and gentlemen.
What would you have done? The money was good though. George Andah stood there and in less than 10 minutes had given me 3 times what Mr. Gedilai was paying me. I say, hey, Anyakea. And it was tempting, let me be honest. And I was much, much younger than I am today. And so you could do all the things and apologize later. But I stood there, I looked in George's face. Then I checked my smoothness level. So the only excuse I had was, Charlie, tomorrow when I come set, I go take the money. And then George is standing there looking at me. He's just looking. You know, half of him didn't believe what I was saying, but half of him was like, okay, I'll trust the friendship. And all of me was like, I'm betraying the friendship tonight, man. And so, George, That was my dilemma. Two friends of mine, George on this side, the late Bill Kwanzaa on that side. Gedilai, one of my mentors, supervising it, and plenty money. George, what should I have done? I had no choice. I chose my integrity. Else today, you'll be like, wait, when you turn off here, turn off here. That was my difficulty. But you know, as I mentioned, George and I had a very frothy relationship afterwards, understandably. Because he had told his boss that, oh, Kwame is he's my guy. I'm bringing him on board. Unfortunately, he didn't achieve that, and I'm sure he had his own repercussions. I say this to the memory of Bill Kwanzaa. Bill Kwanzaa was the brand manager at the time for Castle Milk Stout, just as George was in charge of Guinness. And these were two friends. So George and Bill were like that. Trained by the same person who created the coup d'etat. All of them were trained by Gedilai. And one fine morning, George and Bill, who had patched up now and were working together in an organization, came to my office for an interview. And when they came, Bill was like, today, the three of us should close this matter. Then I said, George need to talk to me. Then George is like, who's I need to talk plus you? Who's I need to talk plus you? So we sat like brothers. And we decided, look, guys, it's been so long. We can't carry this thing forever. So George says, Kwame, I forgive you. And I forgive Bill. And I also said, I forgive you too for starting a fight with me. And so now it was Bill and I on one side forgiving George. And he on another side said, Charlie, you know, and you were very magnanimous that morning. Let me be honest. In spite of all the pain I caused you, George was like, okay, you know what? Let's close this chapter of our lives. And we shook hands like brothers, hugged. And then they came into my studio now for me to interview them. I'm saying this part because let's make love, not war. Life is too short. That night, Bill Kwanzaa died. That night, he died. It's as if he was waiting for us to make peace. That night, he left, he went home, he didn't wake up in the morning. The first person who called me was George. Grief-stricken and shaking. I still remember that call. Forgive me. George was like, Charlie, our man died. I'm like, who? Say, Bill died. I say, how? Yeah, Bill no wake up. His soul rest in peace. Thank you. So, lessons learned. Let's make love. Life is too short. Never know. George, I'm happy to be here today. I've told you my story now. I know you've forgiven me. And to make you further forgive me, I'm going to try and make money for you. So Nenyi, George, Andah determined to do more an autobiography. We have ushers around, and there are pledge cards. And as I mentioned earlier, Zainukam, Chai, pay me. At the camera, the two of them were at target. Awagu, I swear, you and Zay are me in your life. Today, George in book launch, I go wound you. Awagu, I go wound you. He says, I'm not a man of integrity. I am giving you advance notice. That is a man of integrity. Mechanical. Tonight, every time I've had to do this, sometimes it looks as if the author is, forgive my expression, begging for money. He's not. A lot of times, to be able to put such a project together takes a lot. I'm sure you did your research, consulted people, paid writers, did that, this, that. Yes, we need to take care of the bills. But we need to also say congratulations to you. And we need to empower you to do more. And the only way we can empower George is to dip into our pockets. At the end of it all, I love you, George, I love you, George. And I see we have quite an interesting selection of very prominent, distinguished people here. And so, since Mr. Isaac Emil Osei-Bonsu, Bema Kwekuduya, has accepted to chair, I believe that is only natural, normal, sensible, that we allow him to make an offer that we can refuse or accept. And so, I'd like to start the auction, and let's all remember we're here to support George. That's all it is. I see Mr. Joe Ampofo, who is with Enterprise Trustees. He's a big man there. He's tried to hide. But if you know him, such a large person, I wonder how he thinks he will hide. Oh boy, if you bend, you stand, you roll over. I know say you did it. We are merely the city of I see him before I see you. Ras Mubarak, I hear you don't like me very much these days. You go buy the book some. You go buy it. You sit front row. So, Bema, I noticed that the author, we've created space for you over here. So at this point, very kindly, we'll ask that you go. And so if any of us would like for him to sign, I'm sure you wouldn't mind an autographed version of Determined to Do More. It says, Nenyi, George, Andah, an autobiography, Determined to Do More, the mission is possible. Bema, open me now, open me inside. Open na enum kra me de mama. Na open baako. Na baako na ebia na nkola na fa. Ebia na dey to office. Na o junior lawyer bia fa so okosua de. Kaka. Tie ma omienu. So. Ba na so. When you have friends in high places and then they become higher than you knew them, you're not too sure how to address them. This is a man who at age 12 was doing Michael Jackson like nobody's business. And if you know Awagu very well, I mean, if you know, Reggie Rockstone is lean. Reggie is a dancer. But I mean, Awagu is not exactly lean. We're in the same category. So Reggie does Michael Jackson, and you're like, yeah. But Awagu too did some serious Michael Jackson. But you see, oh no, yeah, the body moves. When he's backsliding, you can tell that part of his body is going and the other is on his way. Nana, Onkwaso. We shall start the auction with our chairman. Nana, make me an offer I can refuse or accept. For two, for George. You went to Form 1 with George in 1982, sometime September or October. Of course, it's emotional blackmail complete. I don't deny it. Because in June 1987, you both wrote O-levels. Yes. I happened to be your mate, except that I was on the other side. Nana Minchaso. All three of us were born in 1970. George in April, me in June, you in July. Nana, this is your brother. Unia complete. Yawo mafe baako, ko school baako, wie baako. Nana, at this point, I hear I should even put this aside for your sake and give you the special hard copy. Unia na kai home. Nana also kai no. Nana pacho si. Mpacho nana kasa. Nana one we have $10,000. Nana meet me beside Ribio.
Beautiful. A big hand, ladies and gentlemen.
I will watch it. I will watch it. I will go to Yana Dase. Yamin Shao. On to come. Almost Simodin. Almost Quatintia Honeywoman. Yamin Shao. You'll be on the best. Let's give him another round of applause. You know, when I had the 10,000, I didn't wait for the ending. So I was going to be like, no. That's what I was saying. 10,000 US. You do see here. None of that. None of that. Minister, what? This one for minister. Into hard copy. Make like the hard copy for sure hard. Minister, we'll be on small. You see, in Ghana, my good grandma Elizabeth Ohini wrote something that says, we want them to be corrupt. I don't want them to steal, something like that. This was about 3 or 4 years ago. I remember that article. So when you become a big man, whether you like it or not, our expectations of you are very high. And you know it. And as Grandma Lizzie wrote, we want them to be corrupt or want them to steal. I don't remember the title very well. So, typical Ghanaians, we don't care where you got the money from. As long as you're a big man, you have to pay. Wait here. Kwajo, what's in an and I'll be a book reading. And I'm 10,000 USO. And you're Kufuado, US, Biden. Would you know say, Becca, say, where you are buying cigar? Those of us who know you were a man of substance before you went into parliament. But you see, this is how we are as a people. We always say, oh, it thief government money. The time where you did law school, they hustle, nobody remembers that. Yeah. The time you take your first case, collect your small money, nobody remembers that. By the time you drop minister pay, they say thief our money. But as you, whether you thief or you no thief, we will say you thief. Minister, make us an offer we can reject or accept. Nenyi George Andah, an autobiography, determined to do more. The mission is possible. How much you will give us? No, I haven't asked you to do more than him. I'm asking you to make us an offer. So, Nanatobo. Mini kojo, me edwuma no buy you. Na sisi why me penny. 5 the engine. Power. Ho. Hey, me peska ba me new na mo dey anim how. I'm coming to you next, so get ready. Kojo for one ho. $6,000 US. Kojo upon Kroma. Information Minister, thank you. Mr. Lai, you caused the problem between George and I. You created a rift between a very good friend of mine and myself. But I was very happy to serve you. And in all of it also, you showed us all the intricacies of marketing, media, creating brands and killing brands. For the 4 years that I worked with you, I learned a lot. I'm not sure any university or any academic institution would teach me such juju and tricks. Mr. Lai, thank you very much. But because of you, George refused to speak to me for years. And Mr. Lai, when I was doing the peace talks with the late Bill Kwanzaa, who, in fact, the two of them are your proteges, you were not there. Today is payback time. We'll be very happy to take an offer from you. Sir. You know, life is interesting. Here's Gedilai, referring to Bema Kwekudia and Kojo Ponkruma as his superiors. I'm sorry? When it comes to this one, he said they are his superiors. Meanwhile, when he set up MMRS, we were still in secondary school. Mr. Lai, okay, you do half of whose? Maybe you should do half of Bema Kwekudias. Because the three of us will be your small brothers light years away, crowd. If you say you be fine man, so if you say you be young man, but you know should I be young man like that? So $5,000 US, Mr. Gary Lai, thank you very much. Let George sign for him now. Mr. Lai, thank you very much. Any more hard copies? So, for those of us who remember George, during his marketing days, I am sure that the organization that benefited the most from his expertise and everything else was MTN. Salam, are you there? You own said they add bookmarker for you. They add them. I have been informed that you for pay plenty. Because the building in which you are today, people like George laid the foundation for you. And happily, you moved in and you've even taken it further and higher and better. And so since you're here, the man, did you talk about when he dyed his beard yellow? George, was that the only thing you dyed yellow? Should we check with Santi or something? Is Santi here? Okay, we'll check. But tonight, I'm offering you this copy. First of all, as your personal copy, and then also as the Chief Executive Officer of MTN. Make me an offer. Else I'll make you an offer. And my offer will be in the region of Bema Kwekudia and above. Because I know you're a man worthy of something like that. So don't allow me to ambush you. You make me an offer. You see, the problem you have right now is that you want to match the ministers. But you seem to have forgotten that the chairman is also the chairman of NCA. So, if you match the ministers, you'd have respected the chairman of NCA. If you match the chairman too, then it will be like, okay, not bad. And the chairman has just nodded 2 times. And he says, I agree. You what? Well, he says it's an instruction to you that you should outdo him. In fact, if you like, for tonight, disrespect him. Even if you might defy his orders, at least for tonight. So, your chair says, outdo me and disrespect me, at least for tonight. Mr. Adadewo, MTN, make me an offer that will disrespect the ministers and I'll do the chairmans. Chairman, at this point, chairman says you go up 2 notches. He's instructing me, honestly. So should I say 8? Tell him is biting his teeth, biting his tongue, claps his hands. 8? Did you say 10? You said 10. $8,000 US, MTN. Selim, thank you for allowing me to disrespect you tonight. Thank you. Thank you so very much. So, I happen to be involved in a group that has George as well. Mpacho, I know Efiapia is here. I know Philippa Yusu is here. I know Edi Usu is here. I know Richie the name is here. Start warming up. No boy in our kind of you be Yamba for concert. George, Nenyi, but your brother be MD of Banco, or they are the ones collecting the money. The MD money go there some. You know be Kobe. Where be Kobe? You know be Bank of Africa. Oh, but Kobe they sit here somewhere. My small brother write the book. So you make Ogboro, you come sit down. With respect to Igwe, now we sell the book. It's no longer small brother matter. It's business. Where your bank to they collect the money. Yeah. Bra Kobe, you did also. You turn of dollars. So. MD of bank there, you get money. That might be true. Bank MD, you get money. And I've known you for so long. Oh, Mr. Edward Watson is here. Former ambassador to China, Director General SIGA, State Interest and Governance Authority. I hear your business is doing well because you're here. Mr. Watson, good evening and welcome. You came at the very right time, very opportune time. We're asking for money, and we'll definitely ask you for some. Gerald, thank you very much for pointing him out. But Gerald, you work for mining company, I lie. But you work for mining company. I beg, give us some more money. It be for Nenyi. It be for Nenyi. I beg, you go give us small. You go bring Mr. Boatin, come. You do inside. Kobe, how much are you supporting your brother with? I haven't asked you to read rules and regulations. I said, how much are you helping your brother with? You two have quoted in dollars. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kobe. Under $5,000 US. Well, on the Bank of Ghana's website are some things quoted in dollars, so but they say we shouldn't quote in dollars. Anyway. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am sure that when figures like $10,000, $5,000, $3,000 are thrown around, $6,000, some are like, hey, can we play this game? We all can. As they say, kitwe biensha. And so we just need everybody's commitment, everybody's support tonight to support this project. He probably will do a sequel, you never know, part 2. But whatever it is, we want to support his effort. And as I said, I mentioned a few names here. Mr. Philip Ayesu, Mr. Diosu, Mr. Richie Denim, Mr. Fiapia, who now travel to the two platforms also. When you start whipping everybody into life, we will pay money. Because you are na obey yaw on your platform. So say George, na no ye yaw. Yo, obey yaw. Anyway, so whilst we're at it, not to bore you too much, because sometimes when you're asking for money, you become a bit of a bore. People don't want to know anymore. Mr. Brown, good evening. Nice to know you're in the crowd. I see you and my sweetheart. Ladies and gentlemen, I will begin to take what I may want to call other offers. There are just a few people here I can comfortably bully and get away with. The rest I can't. I have to show respect. And so keep my credibility intact. Let's move. If there are any others who would like to make an offer, I am willing to accept. So let's show by hands those who would like to support this. Onya Yamanai. What the two bomb? So I've left leadership to you, Mr. Philip Ayesu. What do we do? Yes, a hand up to the left. Is that Dr. Lindsay? Is that Dr. Lindsay? Oh, brother, Nyami Show, JL Properties, $5,000 US. JL Properties, Dr. James Atolinse. Thank you, sir. $5,000 US. Hello.
So, Dr. Atolinse is my very good friend. We're all in the biochemistry class in tech. And he's mentioned in the book. When I was in tech in Republic Hall, I was the entertainment chairman for my hall, Republic. And during the whole week, we decided to do something very dramatic. So we decided that we'll bring Kojo Entry to campus. First time ever. And it was a hit. So Atu, being my very good friend, was sitting on the front row with me. And at that time, he had just left his girl being tech. And the girl was very, very bitter. So whilst Kojo Entry was rocking us, we started hearing some murmuring from the back. And Kojo Entry was playing Wumpemia Mendada Mio. And this girl started dancing from the back with a white handkerchief. Came to our front, went down. Atu, don't worry, you will do more. But whilst I'm here, let me also say one more story that's also in the book. My brother Okoko is here. Asala. Okay, so people keep on asking why Oko came to tech for 3 weeks and stopped tech. Oko Christ was my roommate in tech, first year. All of us had just gone to London to go and work and got some small money, so we had bought sound system, we had bought new records. And first year students, we come like 3-4 days before the continuing students come. So Oko Christ, myself, and Tintin were in our room. We had mobile AC, we had carpet. Our room was posh, it was the room to be. So, and we had our friends in Africa Hall. Most of the Achimotans were in Africa Hall. So when the continuing students came, alums, Posu, the late Tiklo, Crazy, Tawa. As soon as they came to dump their things in their rooms, they went to Africa and went to meet the girls there, the first year students. And unfortunately, they went to the room of the girls that were in Achimota with us. So they asked them, oh, so who are your friends in Republic Hall? Oh, Okoko is Tintin George. Okoko is Tintin George. And at that time, Republic Hall, around 10 p.m., the pumps go off. So the water doesn't flow. You have to have your bath before 10 p.m. Otherwise, you have to fetch water and have your bath after 10 p.m. But we didn't know what was going to happen that night. So we all slept. And after 10, we had some banging on the door. And my roommate, Tintin, I don't know whether he thought they were armed robbers or what. He just went to open the door. And these guys, about 7 of them, came into our room. They went to turn on the sound system and they started dancing. You people, everywhere we go in Africa, they are mentioning your names. Today, dear, we go hear you water. You know, in secondary school, when some senior is worrying you, you tell him that, oh, you give him sardine. So we too, fresh from secondary school, we told these guys, you know something, let us give you sardine. They say, the London that you went with, we've gone there. If you want, you come to our room, we'll give you sardine. We begged, nothing was going to happen. So these guys marched us to the pond. Another time, it was the rainy season in Republic Hall. The frogs had laid their eggs in the pond. Tadpole eggs. The one that is streaky, plus the tadpoles themselves all over the pond. And then these guys told us that we should sit down on the floor. Then they themselves jumped into the water and they started swimming. That day, Okokwe said, George, this one we die. The ponding that they ponded us that day, the water that we drank, and there was no water for us to wash down. So when we came back to the room, Tinti removed tadpole from his hair. I removed some from my skin. Oko removed some from somewhere. It made us mellow small. Unfortunately for Oko, the next day he went to Queen's Hall. And they went to do the same thing to him there. That evening, Oko came to the room. I won't continue this school. Unfortunately for Tintin and I, we had nowhere else to go. Apart from tech, we have nowhere else to go. Oko stopped tech and he went to continue his school in London. But Oko, there are more stories in the book, so please, if you want to hear of these stories and more, please buy the book. I'd like to recognize the presence of my personal, very special grandma, Madam Elizabeth Ohene. Please give it up to Grandma. Grandma, thanks for coming.
Ogo, small pond day, you ran away, go London. Ogo, since you've been thrown under the bus, let me push you further. Small pond day, you ran away, go London. They can't buy bouquet. Kumi Preko. How much you go buy? Otherwise, I go make the boys come back and pond you. Anyway, as I mentioned, I moved to an area where I'd like to take offers from all of us here present. Mr. Joan Poffo. Go boy. Alpha. The equivalent of $2,000 now be how much? But I think reduce come 7. 7 something. Or for do I'm 8. If you quote CD, I go aggregate them dollar. If you quote dollar, I go happily take up. Half a. But I tell you, I go wound you. You're seeing our good day here. Our good pay, thank you. Don't do that. Huh? He's a lawyer of truth. A lawyer of what? Oh, he's a lawyer of repute. Hey, but he chopped lawyer almost 30 years now. Quite the time our good 10 lawyer. The way we not get here. 90, was it 5? 96. Hey, we they call our good to the bar. We know I'm no. Now I'm a man the car. I say, me no lawyer no. So you are also an insurance practitioner of extreme repute. Ain't he? Sonny George Komota, but I know you're senior.
He was my senior, yes.
Okay.
Hey, George.
George said you've been a small boy. Oh, you looked after him in Motown. And you become an insurance executive of repute. In fact, high repute. How far?
$2,500.
I won't argue. Mr. Joan Poffo, thank you very much. George, your small boy has come through. He showed you love. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. A few more and then we'll wrap up. And oh yeah, is it? You bet you will be a bit to be. Me home is crown. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take any offer that will support Project Nenyi, George, Andah tonight. Rasmussen, don't tell me, say, you know the work. What's the aim for? Who? Which Obi? Hey, Obi Amade here. Oh, Rabbi. Tina dia di nakata wa ni mu no. Onipa hu ye hu. Oh, kuku seku. Oh. Abani. And they say Yankani Bebre. Ras Mubarak has brought me home to your house. Because I was actually going to break down his door. And then he says, you have a much stronger door. And then he added that to his senior prefect. We all agree. Yo. Oh, true. Maybe all be true. Hey, this nose mask where they hide human being. Who's a woman here, Papa? Eh, Papa, and same room. Mpa Joseph. On peut say, au constituents back, I say, open new borehole. Hey, working in the public space is difficult. Because if it is reported that he gave X amount, you'll be like, any car so be bus stop my one be no. We'll respect your privacy. Obi Amwa, MP, Deputy Minister, undisclosed amount, and we say thank you. Nenyi, we just have a pledge from Mr. Edward Boateng, one-time Ghana's ambassador to China, and then also the chief executive of SIGA, the State Interest and Governance Authority. He has pledged $1,000 for the book. Mr. Boateng, thank you so very much for this kind gesture. As I mentioned, the young ladies are around here somewhere. If you'd like to pledge, we'll gladly take it. Let's do maybe 5 more copies, and then we'll wrap up. So, any more offers, any more pledges? Okay, so, is this my last one? My very last one. Somebody take it on me, please. Yes, sir. $1,000. Thank you very much, sir. Go have it autographed. And so the first 2 copies I started with. Mr. Ayesu, take one of me. For the entire group, $1,000. Hey, Yama $1,000 more months am I? Share. 1,000 you better how. So thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate time spent with you. Thank you very much for supporting George. And thank you very much, especially also for dipping into your pockets to support this project. Chairman, thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you all so very much. You've done great. And I see some familiar faces in the creative space. I see Reggie Rockstone, and I see my brother Ignis Hego. Make we two contribute and do some 500 Ghana. And you fucking man. Dollars now. Yeah, boy, dollars. Jesse, I'll choke you. Jesse, my brother Jesse called me. Said, George, I bet where the CD room day. Good evening, Mr. Okran. Welcome. Say, George, I bet what? Oh, you want a book? How much, please? 5,000 Ghana. Thank you very much. Please, let me make this clear. Don't be mentioning the money according to my height. Use Chairman General's height. Yeah, 5,000 Ghana. Thank you very much, ladies. You can go there. There's more. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my brother, CEO of Foresight TV, Mr. Ignis Hego, $1,000. Solid. All right, so we're going to watch another testimonial video. Right after that, a surprise act comes on the stage. So we can fixate our eyes on the screens. However, if you want a copy of the book, just show by hand. The ushers will come to you, and then you can get your copy. Do that. Thank you very much. Shall we see the videos, please?
Of NGA. All the best.
Hello.
Hi, Kojo. Good luck with the book launch today. I'm trusting everything will go very well. Very, very insightful reading. It's what really got me is the fact that you've been that reflective in your life's journey, and also the link between your life's journey, your experiences, and how you've used that to redefine the set of paradigms that govern your life, which ultimately has led you into the unparalleled success that you've had in your career, both in the corporate world and obviously in public service as well. I hope all goes well. Excellent, good luck. Sorry I couldn't be there, but with you in spirit and cheering the book on. My definite recommendation is that people do get a copy and get to learn what the secret recipe of the making of NGA. All the best.
Hello everyone, my name is Sari Rahman. I'm an ex-colleague and a friend of George Andah. We're here to celebrate the launch of his book, which is another milestone in the step of a great man. George was somebody that was a really inspirational leader when he was working with us at Airtel Nigeria. He was our CMO, very inspirational, somebody who is not just able to get you the dollars and cents of why you need to do a thing, but also ties into the emotional requirements that is needed for you to make something really successful, to build and to call out the passion in people. George is a good guy. If you've ever worked with him before, if you've ever met him, he's a really good guy. And you know, you don't find a lot of those sort of people in the corporate sector. So he's somebody that we really look up to, somebody that we expect a lot of great things from. And I'm glad that this book is another step in the rung of all the different things that we expect that he's going to achieve. He went on into public sector as well. If you know George if you've known George for 5 minutes, you will know that George loves his country. He's always big on how Ghana is such a great place. He's always, very particular about all the things that needed to be done and all the wonderful things that Ghana is. I am very proud of you. I'm very impressed by the things you've been able to achieve. I'm impressed by the fact that you've stayed the course. All the things that you wanted to do, you are systematically going ahead and achieving them. So more grease to your elbows, George. Congratulations on your book launch, and I'm sure a lot of people will find a lot of inspirational and great things to learn from your book. So well done, and thank you everyone for listening to me. Take care. Bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Geraldine Nenyi Andah, George's big sister and de facto mom. I'm so proud of him today for what he's achieved. This book has been a long time coming, I think about 2 years, and at long last, today is the day. My only sad bit is I'm not there in person to be at the launch, but I'm there in spirit, and I'm so proud. The whole family is so proud of you, Nenyi. Love you, and congrats. Ayuko.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Ernest Korante, a lecturer and a partner at the Business Africa Consulting Group. What a privilege, what a blessing this is to say a few things about Nenyi George Andah, the celebrated NGA. So nearly 15 years ago, I was blessed, got the rare opportunity of meeting George. At the time, the lead for the Joy Sports team across the multimedia group, and we put out an innovation that caught the attention of telecom giant MTN, of which George was Chief Marketing Officer, CMO at the time. He invited me over for a conversation, and that was the start of many big things for me. George absolutely changed significant portions and aspects of my life following that conversation. Lessons I learned from then on included the importance of value on self, value on teamwork, and value about life in general. And we all know George. I mean, if we want to spend time talking about George, we won't finish today. George epitomizes a lot of wonderful things, a lot of life's good virtues like hard work, professionalism, and how he's been able to utilize God's gift, and commitment to every cause he's been through his entire life. I mean, they've all been demonstrable in the role he's held across corporate world. We all know his time from MTN, SG, SSB, and Airtel, Glow, and all of that, and also across politics and governance, leading the people of Ewutu West and his work as Deputy Communications Minister. It's been a great privilege knowing George over the years. And as I indicated earlier, this is someone who has taught me remarkable lessons. And on the occasion of George putting out his book, I can't wait to get copies for myself and my partners and people I know across the BAC group. George, from all of us at the BAC group, my family, Kyo and D and the boys, we all celebrate you. We congratulate you today. It's always a big step to put all of the experiences, the expertise, the things you have been through in this life in a book that people can read. It's one of the ways of extending the legacy. At least this will live for many, many years, George. Congratulations. I'm so eager to find out what you mean by determined to do more, because I know what it is if you just want to do something little. How much more say do more, and how much more for you to say you're determined to do more. I look forward to this. So on this August occasion, I want to say congratulations to you. Thank you for the inspiration over the years, the motivation and the support. You've been a great source of hope, a great source of help, a great source of inspiration to many of us, and we will never forget, George. God bless you for us, and whatever it is you are determined to do, please keep doing it. And we pray for God's strength, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, enlightenment, vision, insight, life, and good health for you to achieve all of that God has given to you. It's always a pleasure. From all of us at the BAC group, we say, George, we love you.
My name is Mercedes Rory Asameni, the Political and Social Affairs Officer of the All African Student Union and Project Assistant at CDD Ghana. I have known Mr. George Andah since 2015. So I went to my constituency where I happen to be from as well. I'm a native of Bojuase, and I happened to see his billboards all over the place that he was contesting for the Member of Parliament for Ewutu Senior West. In fact, when I saw the billboards, I was excited and impressed because I had heard of Mr. George Andah. I know the great things he did with Scancom, Guinness Ghana, and other telcos. So when I saw his billboards, I was personally honored and kind of felt privileged that our constituency would have a personality like him representing us. So I reached out to someone who could help me get his number, and I was able to get in touch with him. And I messaged him, introduced myself to him. Then I was in UCC and a TESCON executive. So I introduced myself to him, introduced strategies that I thought would help him in his campaign, per what I had seen in the constituency. I was a bit scared.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. and having the patience to listen to me. I'm Dr. Randolph Ambala, a friend to Honorable George Andah. To be honest, more like a brother. I've known George throughout my days working with him at Guinness Ghana Limited, and then to MTN. And then I consulted for him briefly whilst he was CEO of Glow. Since then, George has remained a brother, he's remained family. I like to consider myself as one of the few people who have met and dealt with George for a long while, to appreciate him as a person, a remarkable human being with a lot of great ideas, a great vision, and a lot to offer to God and country. On this day that he is planning to launch a book, I will urge everybody to get a copy of the book. The book offers insightful inner revelations of a remarkable man in the making. It reveals, for me, an important feature that all successful persons are, first of all, human beings who deal with the same frailties, fragilities, ambitions, thoughts, challenges that all humans deal with, but somehow have within them a remarkable self-belief, a remarkable, almost divine level of faith to believe that every challenge is surmountable and strive in spite of the challenges towards greater heights. I see that as a great form of motivation for the youth of today to appreciate the fact that successful people start from the basics and rise, and therefore there is within everybody perhaps an opportunity to make a mark. So go out there, grab your copies, and I wish you all well. Good evening.
My name is Iraja Kain, and George Andah. The first time I heard the name George Andah was when I went to Achimota School. George was the dining hall prefect then. Yes, George was in charge of our food.
Minus acts. This man has done it all. He's seen it all. December 24th last year, he shut down the city of Accra with his never seen before experience concert. If you're as ready as I am, please give it up for my brother and friend, Samini. Let's hear it for Samini.
like George, police got this on my neck. Yeah. Oh, Mama Africa, you should cry no more. Yeah. Youth of today, ready to make a change. Yeah. Oh, Mama Africa, you should cry no more. Youth of today, ready to make a change. Yeah. Yo. Take a look at the DRC. Can't believe the crazy things I see. If you don't believe me, try hashtag Congo is bleeding. You should go check Namibia, my people still they hashtag. Them say shut it all down there. Cameroon is fighting Anglophone crisis. Oh God Almighty. Rape is a national emergency. And that's the hashtag we see in Liberia. People in Nigeria still the hashtag CNSAS, yeah. Oh, Mama Africa, you should cry no more, yeah. Youth of today, ready to make a change, yeah. Oh, Mama Africa, you should cry no more. Youth of today, ready to make a change, yeah. Hey. Yo. Gentlemen, it's a privilege to be here. I'm more than honored to be here, and I'd rather be here than anywhere else tonight. Just to take a few seconds to talk about my relationship with man like Mr. George Andah. Long story short, the biggest endorsement deal for me in my career happened through my link with Mr. George Andah. And lo and behold, up until today, I'm still connected with the biggest telco a brand in the country, MTN Ghana. And I must say, big thank you to Mr. George Andah for that opportunity, because that was like one of the biggest milestones in my career. Big up yourself, Grandpapa Reggie Rockstone. I see you. You know, for such an endorsement at that age, at that time, at that point in my career, I knew that this called for more work. This called for more content, more reasons why it would make sense for such a brand to associate itself with me. And end of the day, that made me who I am today. Big up Mr. George Andah, wherever you are. And this right here is an example of things that you will, set the pace for people like us to want to emulate. So if I ever launch a book, then you just know where I got inspired from. Big up George. Let me do a couple more songs and then the program continues. Achoo! Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen. My old man tell me, say, in life you have to make mistakes. The whole world is one big place. You don't need to run the rat race. Human race. Put your part in your hand. lazy man. There will be no food for lazy man. Minyaka kumbandi sao kabiemba yo. Oh, 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 kabiemba yo no. Minyaka kumbandi sao kabiemba yo. Oh, 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 kabiemba yo. Oh, yaka yo. Oh yeah, yeah. Life is hard. You can make ends meet when you're chilling on that sofa. No, no. I keep that pace. Only celebrate when the race is over. Na 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 na. Massa, do your own and let them do their own. Everybody got their own. Oh yo yo yo, na 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 na. Old man say if you living like a lazy man, there will be no food for lazy man. Oh, remember there will be nothing left for lazy man. There will be no food for lazy man. Oh, minyaka kumbandi sao kabiemba yo. Oh oh oh, kabiemba yo. Minyaka kumbandi sao kabiemba yo no. Oh oh oh, kabiemba yo. Yoka yo. Ta ta ra 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 do re. Boom. Do your own. Let them do their own. Everybody got them own. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is Andah, I see you. Yakayoy. Yeah. You make me wanna rearrange the alphabet so I could put you next to letter I. Take my heart, baby, carry go. If you leave me, baby, I go die. And tuna suni sisi kiti kiti. O camera footage, I know you're risi. Nisi mujira smile siri siri. Penny wants a minute, no chili. Yeah. Me baby, me brownie, yeah. Golden tree chocolate, yeah. Me jatoli, yeah. Each and every day, me debidi. My own. The time and they chase and then no money they owe. My own. See my heart back, Koshito and they grind for my genge. My own. Like the air, they feel I'm for everywhere I go. My own. See the money, baby, come chop on for me. And then me say, what's up in here? What's up in here? Oh, the my lonely brown, I bet chat to me, yeah. Chat to me, girl. See it. Wait time make a carry you. What? And a house in Malibu. Hey. And the dinner eat it just for two. Me do now, do me tip a beer. Hey, my own. The time at the chase and then no money they owe. My own. See my heart back, cause she thought I dey grind for my cake. My own. Like the air, they feel I'm for everywhere I go. My own. See the money, baby, come. Oh, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. O camera footage, I know you're risi. Yeah, listen, mujira smile, siri. Penny wants a minute, no chili. Me baby, brownie, yeah. Golden tree chocolate, yeah. Me jatoli, yeah. Each and every day, baby. Oh, my own. The time and the chase and then no money they owe. My own. Hot back, ladies and gentlemen, as the book is launched, I'm gonna go get my copy. Make sure you get your copy before you leave here.
Hello. Right, his name is Samini. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll still like to thank you all for your support. We've been supported on this event by the Labadi Beach Hotel. And at this point, I think it would be pertinent that we do a little presentation to them. But before we get to that, let me thank Oko Quests. Also thanking Kwabena Boateng, Linda Boache, thank you very much. Nana Defibwedu, thank you very much. Antoinette Tibudako, thank you very much. Tibudako, yes, that's from the Dankwa Institute, yes. And then, of course, my brother and his wife, Mr. and Mrs. Rockstone, $1,000 there, thank you very much. We're very, very, very grateful. It looks like George is swamped. But we're truly, truly grateful to the Labadi Beach Hotel for their support. Also to MTN Ghana for your support. And Aini and everybody else who supported this event, we're truly grateful. I think where we are now, I cannot get George on stage, obviously not. That's not going to happen. So I think we should do the vote of thanks. Let's do the vote of thanks and then we can call it an evening for now. But we're truly grateful to the Labadi Beach Hotel and to everybody else who has supported this event. We're very grateful. If Kobe could please join me on stage, Kobe Andah. Kobe will do the vote of thanks for us. And we also do have some refreshment in the foyer. We can still network and interact. And you can still get your books, obviously. We're not gone yet. You can still get your books. Yes.
Thank you. Chairman, His Excellency Isaac Osebos. It's so difficult getting you out of the Wagus, huh? There could have been no better choice for a chairman than you. I mean, you and George go a long way. You've been part of his journey from the 99 days when you used to go and catch golden fish in the lake in Roman Ridge. I know the two of you are brothers. The two of you influence each other. You distinguished yourself today. The program went on smoothly without any hitch, and we thank you very much for that. We also thank the publishers and the production team. We know how difficult it could be. Everybody's saying nice things about George, but George is a perfectionist. And when you work with a perfectionist, he demands only the best. And it couldn't have been easy. His eye for detail, making sure everything was done properly. We are thankful that you were able to work and bring such a beautiful production. When George, Mr. Chairman, when George told us that he was writing a book, this was like 5 years ago, I expected him to write a technical book, a book on marketing, leadership, digital strategy. He has so much to share academically. And then he said, no, he was writing an autobiography. And I said, you're not 50, you're writing an autobiography. Typical Ghanaians, you know, we don't read and we don't even write. Then I realized that if you go through his story, he would need more than one volume. It couldn't have been one volume. You go through George's life from growing up in Roman Ridge, when he was a member of the People's Defense Committee, when he was maybe 7 or something, when he went to Motown, the leadership roles he played. He opened his first business, I think it was just after university. He has so much, achieved so much, and we are waiting for the next volume. But we should thank God for having made us live George's journey with him, to be part of his life, his distinguished life. We are proud of him, and we are grateful to God for giving us a brother, a husband, a father,
a cousin, and a friend, a true friend, a sincere and honest friend such as George. For today's event, Honorable Oponkroma is not here, he's left, but he was distinguished. And Kwame, is Kwame Sefekai here? When we were told Kwame was going to be the one who was going to conduct the auctioning, I immediately had to call the bank that I think I'll need more money. Because knowing Kwame, you couldn't just get away with just anything. And he actually proved it. So, Kwame, thank you very much. We thank the clergy. We thank everybody. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. We started with God, and we will not close without God. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, let me invite Reverend Father Joseph Okankwate, if he's around, to give us a short prayer. The prayer doesn't mean we have closed. We're just doing the formalities before everybody disappears.
We pray in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Our Lord and Master, at the beginning of this program, we called upon your help, and you have seen us through the program and have brought us to a successful end. As we part to our various destinations, we ask that you give us safe passages back home. We go back home determined to do more. And so we ask you to bless each and every one of us, bless our intentions, and bless all who have supported this program. May we always feel the power of your hand at work in our lives. And as you give us strength from rest tonight, may we wake up tomorrow morning poised to do more for you, for our neighbors, for our country. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, officially, this is the end of our book launch. Thank you all very much for being a part of it. To the team that put it together, it's a very, very tall list. I wouldn't want to go into names, but God richly bless each and every one of you. George is still here. And a very, very big thanks again going out to the Labadi Beach Hotel. They've been very, very, very supportive. And George will do a special presentation to them, which will be captured by the photographs right over there. We should have done it on stage, but as you can see, he's swamped. So we're going to do it over there. But Labadi Beach Hotel, we're truly, truly grateful for your support. Thank you so very much. And hey, go out there, grab a copy of the book. It's going to inspire you. Thank you very much. Good night.
So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumangu, you know what you're showing.